The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode.
The summer of 2015 at 10.
Welcome to the Brandon Peters Show for the finale, the last piece, the capper for the summer of 2015 at 10, a series that looked back at the films released that summer and the pop culture that surrounded them. And joining me, as always, from Puck News and the Outside Scoop, which this week is Nut Blues There, which orange, which is a scoop of our blood orange ice cream with a blueberry drizzle and our nut mixture sprinkled on top. Orange, you glad I didn't say banana?
I suppose.
And from Out and Out with Aaron and Abe, we live entertainment and two black guys talk Godzilla. He enjoyed this fantastic American Ultron summer. Aaron Neuwirth.
You know, we've come a long way from where we began, but I'll tell you all about it when I see you guys again.
Oh! I'm gonna drive up the hill, like to the light.
Ironic that wasn't technically a summer movie.
It was like when Fast was like, we rule April, and then they're like, no, we're gonna do summer again.
I didn't even mention Fest. I was talking about the song that dominated the summer, part of this show. Not some unrelated thing that someone
that came from a movie?
Oh, yeah. Sorry for bringing up Rocky 3 when you're talking about Eye of the Tiger.
That actually, funny story. That actually,
I know,
was the most on YouTube. That episode did the best of any of these summer episodes.
Cream of the crop.
It flew off right when it started. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, was it Greg?
Wait, the Eye of the Tiger or the
See You Again. And then Greg, I was like, was it Greg? It was like, nope. Greg's next episode. Nope. Nowhere there.
It song's a hit. That's why.
It was huge. People like
good
Wiz,
fucking song.
Just wait till you hear like your Sunflower episode for our December of 2018
right?
4 or whatever.
There we go. Yeah, so stay tuned to the end of this episode, or be a dick and skip forward as we announce the next summer of series. They'll do what they're gonna do. So I'm just giving them a hint, like go skip back, come back to this conversation. But first, as we do, we're gonna pour one out for the films that did not make the summer of 2015 at 10. All right, here we go. Yeah. Iris, Marie's Story, Five Flights Up, Noble, Saint Laurent, the Apu Trilogy re-release, I Am Big Bird, the Carol Spinney Story, Trade, Bombay Velvet, In the Name of My Daughter, Animals, The Connection, Dark Star, H.R. Giger's World, One Cut, One Life, Our Man Tehran, or is it Tehran to rhyme? Our Man Tehran. The Film Critic, Where Hope Grows, Tanu Weds Manu Returns, When Marty Was There, Sunshine Superman, The Farewell Party, Love at First Flight, Aloft, Gemma Bovary. Oh, that would have gone good with Madame Bovary. Results. Dill Didakni Do, The Cokeville Miracle, Testament of Youth. A pigeon sat on a branch of reflecting on excellence.
That's a good movie too.
The New Girlfriend, Charlie's Country, United Passions, Hungry Hearts. That is two different titles. That was like a United Passions : Hungry Hearts. Hamari Aduri Kahani, The Wolfpack, The Things of Live, a re-release of the 1970 film. Anybody Can Dance 2, ABCD2. The Overnight.
The Overnight? We missed the Overnight? Oh, that would have been fun.
Infinitely Polar Bear. The Ark of Mr. Chow. Eden. The Tribe. Hippocrates. Diary of a French Doctor. The New Rijeks Museum. Gabrielle. Bat Kid Begins. The Wish Heard Round the World. Big Game. Runoff.
Oh.
The Little Death. L.A. Slasher. A Murder in the Park. Amy. A poem
Yes.
is a naked person. Mala Mala. Jimmy's Hall. Bahubali, the beginning. Boulevard. Forever Young. Nowitzki, the person. Nowitzki, the perfect shot. Do I sound gay? I'm just asking though. What's the type? No, I'm just kidding. What's the type? Tap World. The Suicide Theory. Meet Me in Montenegro. Stations of the Cross. Bajrangi Bhaijaan. Northern Limit Line. The Stanford Prison Experiment. Lila and Eve. El Ardor. The Look of Silence. Court. Alleluia. Fidelio, Alice's Journey. Phoenix. Only You. Samba. The Other One. The Young and Prodigious T.S. Spivet. Best of Enemies. Listen to Me, Marlon. Wild City. Paulo Coelho's Best Story. The Sugar Film. Jenny's Wedding. Dragon Ball Z. Resurrection F. Assassination. Dark Places. The Diary of a Teenage Girl. Khalil Gibran's Prophet. Sneakerheads. The Dinner. Brothers. Blood Against Blood. Maru. Go Away, Mr. Toomer. Once I Was a Beehive. Rosenwald. Tango Negro. The African Roots of Tango. The Great Man. Paulette. Grandma. Learning to Drive. Digging for Fire. The Quay Brothers in 35mm. Station to Station. Top Spin. Guidance. Slow Learners. Phantom. Memories of the Sword. The Second Mother. Windsor Drive. A Reason, and Drown. Those were the films we unfortunately did not have the time to cover, which is almost like more than what we did.
In the arms of an angel,
Whew.
may you find some comfort here.
What a summer at the movies. So, what I like to do before we get into some of our little things about this, the little favorites and whatnot, is like, what do we learn from this summer of 2015? Only 10 years ago, but so much to learn. This summer, though, like, in terms of us going back and watching movies, was it as interesting as the other three? Well, two for Aaron, or was it, like, some of this was easy because I had seen something recently or it was still in my mind. So if I didn't have time to watch it, I didn't feel the pressure or the need to like really focus. But like, I don't know. I kind of like diving into an older era more than just recently.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely agree there. I am insane, so I did watch every single movie that was assigned, regardless of how recently I'd seen it. And no, ultimately, both because some of us are hard workers, both because I had there's very few that I hadn't seen from this summer by comparison to the other summers. It led to less surprises for sure. It's hard to gauge like interest, but like obviously, sure, going back to a period that I have further memories from makes those years by default more intriguing to investigate, where this is more, an interesting retrospective on something that I'm still fairly familiar with. So in that way, yes, I like the older areas by default. There's also just less to do, so I feel like it gave us more time to kind of concentrate on certain things, where we had so many jam-packed weeks where we had to spend less time analyzing certain things. Not to say that I don't think we did a fun job going through various movies on week after week, but I do think because we had the time to, talk about just three movies or whatnot, we were able to kind of tap into some of the themes of the times more or what have you, where this is, especially because 2015 is, yes, a different time than now, but certainly has more in common with now than the other decades do. So that's not to say that this was not delightful to do. I love this, but sure, if you want to like rank them, then this would be less interesting compared to the other ones, sure.
Yeah. Scott?
Yes. And, because this was the one decade in which not only was I doing this as a job, but I was, and I think we all were, comparatively immersed in the external and internal discourse and or cultural ecosystem in a way that, to the extent that it even existed, wasn't really the case in certainly 93, 82, and 2004 to a certain extent. So a lot of this was sort of, rewatching these films. Do I still feel the same way? If not, why not? And was there something in the culture 10 years ago that made me maybe affected what I liked or didn't like about a given movie? And does that still apply today? And that's fine. That's but it's certainly very different, at least for me, than going back to something from whether it's something that I've never seen from 1982 or something that I saw once when I was 13 in 1993, where it was like, big summer movie, it's fun, or it not good, it's still not good. Where there were a lot more, I was much more aware of pop culture's impact on culture at large, for better or worse, 10 years ago. And so this was more of a, not just a retrospective of the movies, but it really was a retrospective of who I was as an adult 10 years ago. And obviously, and this has been sort of the theme, at least since 2004, I certainly was more optimistic 10 years ago, both in terms of the arc of history, so to speak, and in terms of what the films that I thought were both artistically good and to a certain extent morally good, what value those films might offer in the long term. And now, of course, I'm like, fuck it, nothing makes a difference, nothing matters, blah blah blah. But so that was sort of what was different about this season, without saying it's better or worse than the previous ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what you guys both brought up, at this, what's different here in 2015, to varying degrees of impact, we all have voices at this time in the film communities, like with things. So it's not like we're looking at, well, they thought that, we're looking back at ourselves, people we know, and things like that. Like, and it's a little weirder. It's a little like, it's more like, well, I've talked about this before, like it's sort of, it's not so much a retread, because I've had plenty of stuff I hadn't seen from this year. Everybody's not like, so like, if you're a listener to my show and maybe you don't pay as close attention to Aaron off this show, you should, like, when he does the end of the movie, like, he sees more movies than, and in the theater too, than anybody else. When you see his end of the year list, it's one of the most impressive lists out there. Remember to click things, because he's got goodies. But like, what you think might be like top 10 film, you're gonna look and be like 46, but he's seen like everything, so it's a whole different world to him. And so like I appreciate him going back and rewatching a lot of these things for it. But like, so it's just, to have these where we're at now,
Sure,
and have
it covers
been,
the experience, and
yeah,
that helps with having three guests that can all provide different perspectives.
yeah.
You have someone like you who's, naive and young and always gets to see so many things, and someone like Scott who voluntarily skips things because he just feels like it, and then I make the so
Yeah.
It's funny, whenever I, usually like the halfway point of the year and point of the year, where like I look at your lists and the stuff that you've done, like, oh my God, I am so behind on what I should have seen. And then when certain critical year-end voting groups send out their nominees, and I'm like, oh my God, I am way ahead of the curve.
Uh-huh.
I'm not nominating like Jack Black for Best Actor in Minecraft. Jesus Christ.
Right. No, like, if Aaron helps me, like, he'll cheat sheet for me in terms of knowing, having a good handle on what I do like, and then also like, this is important, like, this really helps me to,
I very
my
much
focus.
like my mutant ability is having a good
Yeah.
sense of what other friends of mine and people I know
Mhm.
are gonna like, and wanting to ideally not just tailor recommendations to you or Scott or whomever based on, I like this, you need to like it too, but I think you'll actually get something out of this, therefore this is specifically something I'd want you to watch.
Yeah. And we all come to agree, like, things like this year, like, like, uh, uh, or what was it? Yeah. Clown in a cornfield being like, well, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's like we all come together with that. But no, it's
I think in general, without making this a big discourse, that horror as a genre has gone from severely underappreciated to the point where like almost every horror film that has a couple, that has a little bit of atmosphere is hailed online as the greatest fright film of our age. And then when Wendy and I eventually watch it, we're like, this is fine at best.
Yeah.
Which is why I was so happy when I took her to see Weapons and she really liked it
Yeah.
Yeah,
in a
there's
way
a
that
My
there's a
son was huge on like he comes around, he like I see him watching like TikToks about weapons and stuff, and he's like, "Do you think it's one of like the greats? Did we see like what?" I'm like, "I'm glad you're feeling that way coming out of something like this. This is awesome. This like I love it."
there's an overcompensation for people that
yeah,
claim they don't see horror movies very often, or at least don't like horror, which is more of a way of saying I don't like seeing gory stuff, but I'll see every other thing that has some tinge of horror in it, as long as I don't have to call it horror. So, like, yes, when you have movies that are getting a level of acclaim that doesn't normally come with the genre, suddenly it's a masterpiece.
Yeah, yeah. I do.
Now, in some cases, some, just really work. While Scott is more or less average on Sinners, the rest of the world is pretty much like Sinners rules. It's the best thing we've seen this
Right.
year. Like, I mean, like
it's
there's
as
some that kind
average
of
as Saving Private Ryan.
yeah.
Well,
Okay,
I mean,
fair enough.
the thing is, people are going to get unrestly because Sinners is going to remain one of the best films of the year, if not the best, and they're going to be so bored that it's came and just stayed there that they're going to try to. They're going to try. I can't wait till the end of the year to go.
Well, that's the
for everybody
downside.
to
It's
go
going to have
against
this
it.
backlash. It's going to come in and be like, it's not that good. It's the first half's good.
Oh, it's like from dusk till dawn. No,
You read my review.
yeah. I will say since we touched horror, like so one of my notes here
It's
for
no Legion.
yeah, my notes here for in 2015 is the horror. The major release horror was all like IP, like the high profile stuff, like
Uh-huh.
Poltergeist, Insidious 3, Jurassic World
Insidious.
3, or Jurassic World, and Sinister 2, but like a lot of it stunk. Like and like the original stuff was really bad, like Vatican tapes and the Gallows. Not a good like
Not a good summer for horror.
Maggie's solid, but it's at 79 theaters. But yeah, the horror was not good this summer. And I believe the last summer was 2004. We were like lacking horror.
Yeah.
And yeah, and horror's like in 2010s is a good decade for horror. And this
Well, the
is
summer just wasn't the area around it. Like there's
no, yeah.
horror in other parts of that year that worked pretty well, but
Like
that
I think
Offhand,
Insidious 3 is okay, but like when you mix it with everything else, it's
when
like
you have to say that that's the highlight of the horror for the summer movie period,
yeah.
yes, that's when it becomes a
I
problem.
get. I mean, people love Jurassic World, so I mean,
Yeah, but I'm not here to argue that it's not a scary monster movie, but
yeah,
obviously that's not the kind of thing that you first think of when you think of the horror films of 2015.
yeah. You're. I
it's
mean,
no the Gallows.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, more people are going to throw Jurassic World in the adventure column than horror, but it is horror. It just,
But you know what I mean, as far as like, yeah, the
Yeah.
horror of
yeah,
2015, that's not like top on the list.
yeah, yeah.
Or even be instinctively coming into play.
And Aaron, you had nice things to say about the Poltergeist remake, but you're just like, here's what I can say nice about it. You weren't like, oh, this
Yeah.
movie
No, I mean
rules.
it's a bad movie that has good things going for it compared to flat out terrible things. But I
Hmm.
mean, but like 'cause 2015 does have good. There's like, because yeah, but we're just looking at it now offhand. There's like Bone Tomahawk will come out,
Yeah.
Black Coat's Daughter,
Are we allowed to talk about
Green
positively
Room,
about Bone Tomahawk? Because I heard it's not cool to do
The
that.
Witch, Final Girls. Like, but these are kind of all around the summer.
Yeah.
The Visit.
For me, it doesn't matter. The Witches counts as an early 2016 for me.
Yeah, it's in that
Um,
weird nebulous zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I saw the Witch in the
in terms
theater.
of mainstream,
Oh.
and we can debate what mainstream is. Horror was in kind of a slump for like 2014 and 2015
Yeah.
before kind of getting a fire under its ass in 2016. And then, of course, early set 2017, thanks to Blumhouse, among other places,
Hmm.
it just sort of shot into the moon, has sort of been a stable, reliable, dependable, commercially and artistic subgenre ever since.
Yeah, we're here
Um,
right here is at the like Blumhouse is around, but not like wow. And like the next year or so, they're gonna like take off, and then they're already in the do we care about Blumhouse anymore type road.
Well, they fucked up, I would argue,
Yeah.
to a certain extent,
Yeah,
in that, Lisa
24
said this a
I
bunch
mean,
of times.
I guess you're saying like in terms of mainstream, but like 2014 has got, It Follows, What We Do in the Shadows, Girl Who Walks Home at Night.
Mhm.
There's a lot of
And that's
like
what I was thinking
The
commercially.
Babadook.
Most of
I mean, like there's a lot
yeah,
of like hits in there that like have stood the test of time.
um,
10 years later are still
'cause
relevant.
well, because I remember writing about this in late 2014. The idea that at this time horror was kind of in a commercial slump. That even the ones that we really liked, like It Follows, weren't exactly blowout hits, and there was this concern like, is horror now so associated with dirt cheap movies that work fine on this newly affordable and newly convenient VOD technology that the theatrical horror film is gonna be in trouble? And again, for
Well,
two
yeah,
years, I would say it was.
studios aren't grabbing them,
Yeah,
sure. So yeah, by the time you get to
Mhm.
2016, 17,
yeah,
17 specifically, where Get Out becomes this buzzworthy thing
yeah,
months before it even arrives, and then becomes this massive zeitgeist capturing hit, and that suddenly shifts the tide as far as what studios are willing to invest in on
Right.
on a broader
yeah,
basis.
I
Yeah.
feel like the seeds are all planted in 2010 with Insidious, and that movie is what it all grows and
yeah.
becomes this dominant force of the
Well,
decade from.
that's the
I'd
second
argue
time
even,
at
even
least.
before that you get Paranormal Activity. I would say is like the one that's doing, and then
Right, but people were
Sure.
sick. But people were sick of the found footage.
I hear,
And
and
yeah,
it builds towards Insidious as far as you've combined both the director of Saw and the producer of Paranormal, and you've
right.
made a haunted house movie, which becomes the default horror genre for mainstream studios for a good 7 years. Yes, I get what you're saying with
Yeah,
Insidious for sure.
yeah.
um,
Because I was
and it
like, yeah,
also gives them a template for making a fright flick that is very cheap and doesn't have to be excessively violent if they don't want to be.
yeah. Well, yeah, because like the 2000s got people. I mean, it was all J horror
Mhm.
remakes, the torture porn, then the hot. Yeah, these are the hot headline items, and found footage and remakes of the old horror
Remakes.
films, and that's what came through. And I mean, I could go back to 2009's House of the Devil is kind of its own thing, but like that's one for me that I feels like something new, fresh, turning the door, and then somewhere along the line, Stranger Things comes out, and then everybody wants to make their '80s horror thing. But um, that one did it first. That one did it best. But yeah, 2010 Insidious, where they make it cheapy. It's got notable stars, recognizable stars in it, and does boffo business. And like, yeah, I think everything starts turning over there because then we get more from Ty West. We get like the Innkeepers. We get like, and it goes from a
Well, there's
buzzy,
a rise of the directors that have grown
yeah,
up watching '80s directors, along
right.
among other '70s
Yeah,
Not
directors,
everything does
and
well
they're
either, like Your
no,
Next
no,
and things like that. But
but it's a matter of finding its footing with these smaller studios that have these younger upstarts that are making
mhm,
strides by hitting film festivals in the same way that some of the other younger, like a John
right,
Carpenter back in the day or a Sam Raimi back in the day would. But they're now learning from those directors specifically and coming into play, having their own homages, and they're still doing things that are fresh. Like I get it. Like it's a pattern that
mhm,
makes a lot of sense. There's just
and that's
fallow
also, I
periods.
mean, if I may, yes, A, toward the end of the 2010s, we start, yeah, sort of the mid to end of 2010s, we start seeing the generation that grew up on that Boffo Shyamalan quadrilogy of sorts, where it's like, what if a horror film made you cry? And I'm not going to say The Sixth Sense is the first tear jerking horror movie because I'm sure it's not, but it certainly stood out to me as an ignorant teenager, mostly consuming mainstream stuff at that time.
When a movie makes the amount of money that
well,
Sixth Sense
Yeah,
did, yes, it becomes certainly notable in that regard. But you have at the same time, you have people that are growing up on things like Pixar films, stuff that's cool
yeah,
because it's emotional, like
well,
that kind of
yeah.
a thing.
when we get to 2018, we get David Gordon Green's Halloween, and then we jump into an era of trauma exploitation, which everybody's like, hey, guess what? Did you know it's about trauma?
Well, you get the
What if
blend
she
of
has trauma?
you get it
Damn
you get
you,
it
Jamie Lee.
you get a blend of the A24 style, hey, there's trauma here, mixed with Lego sequels, which also have been
Yeah,
all the way through the
yep,
2010s, let's not
Yeah.
forget. And you combine that to some ultimate franchises like a Halloween, where, it doesn't hurt that the quality was there, regardless of how much
yeah,
you
oh
like or
yeah,
not, Scott. I mean,
Oh yeah, it's a well-made picture.
there's clearly a lot of effort going into seeing directors that have studied this stuff, know what they're doing, and have a studio that's giving them just enough both leeway and budget to get by and do what they need to do.
yeah,
No, whatever you
Oh,
want to say about the legs on those things, as far as those franchises are concerned, or their second weekends or whatever, that's another story. But I mean, yeah,
right,
certainly things took off in a way there that helped.
well, I would
gotcha.
argue to a certain extent, with the exception of, Saw and Paranormal Activity, most of the horror franchises that we associate, whether it's the remake craze or the, whatever. They didn't last more than one or two sequels, if that.
You're saying that, but
Texas Chainsaw got
the one other cinematic franchise that's not the MCU that didn't implode, besides the MonsterVerse, of course, the Conjuring universe.
Yes.
I knew I forgot one.
The $1 billion and counting Conjuring universe. $2 billion counting.
$2 billion.
And in this house, we count the Curse of La Llorona.
I talked to director Mike Jobs the other day.
Mhm.
I did not mention that.
One of the last things I did at the Wrap was interview him for the Nun 2, and I gave him lighthearted shit for that, just because I got, Warner Brothers got mad at me back in early 2018. It's like, dude, you're the ones that put it out there on South by Southwest saying, "Hey, look, it's a Conjuring movie."
It's literally within the movie.
We know where we stand. Yeah. Yes, La Llorona and Shazam: Fury of the Gods are both in the Conjuring universe. Period.
Yes.
End of sentence.
The two best Conjuring movies, Shazam and Aquaman.
Very true.
And then Malignant, because I'm sure there's an Annabelle doll somewhere in there.
So another genre that's pure cinema based on comedy that I noticed women comedies quite alive. Was probably riding the Bridesmaids wave still, because we had Hot Pursuit, Pitch Perfect 2, Barely Lethal, Spy, and Trainwreck all in that summer. So like when we had summer 2004 was all about those teen girls. Now they've grown up, they're adults, and they're going to these. Or ideally will show up for these. Not that there's some okay stuff in here, but I noticed there's plenty of releases aimed at
The
that.
ratio is strong in that regard. You're not
And
wrong.
more than comedies aimed at men, I think. Straight comedies aimed at men, or just the women ones were a little more.
In terms of straight comedy, sure, because there's obviously a lot of action comedies and what have you. But yes, as far as like, hey, let's give this funny woman a movie vehicle to work behind. Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah.
A lot more of those.
Right.
And that's one of many ways in which the summer of 2015 felt like the future. That didn't happen for a number of reasons.
Because in my notes, I have the same thing, Brandon. I also added Blacks and Latinos were not forgotten at the box office this year. That seems like another notable point to make.
Yep. There's a lot of stuff. I have also the counter programming was vacated on opening weekends of giants like Age of Ultron and Jurassic World. There was zero other new options. Ant-Man wasn't feared because Trainwreck opened against it, but those two movies, just nothing. I think at the top of this, we were like, Hot Pursuit might have made more money being against Age of Ultron rather than after being the big movie the next week, which
it also would have had an extra week before Pitch Perfect 2.
Yeah, that's true. So they need counter programming. Come on, folks.
And now, of course, the industry is what? Put more than one movie on a weekend? Are you insane?
What?
The market can't sustain that.
Options? Would our Marvels have to take up most of the screens and showtimes? How can we have other movies? Put Fantastic Fours because they will drop and you will have plenty of openings. So
I tried to warn them, but that was what got me canceled on Twitter the one funniest time.
In terms of just generalizing how blockbusters played this year, I wrote down blockbuster-wise, there's Familiar but Safe was generally a hit, where Desperate or Weird was not. So when you have things like a new Jurassic Park movie, a Marvel movie, yes, those are giant hits. When you had things like Tomorrowland, what? Or a remake of Poltergeist in this economy, those are just kind of slammed down and said no.
Well, you have Tomorrowland, which it didn't necessarily go, hey, it's like the theme park come to life. It kind of tried,
It's just weird.
It's
this weird
they
thing.
didn't really lean into
Huh?
Yeah. And this was the last. I remember 2015, I did a post beginning of the year, basically 10 originals that might break out. And some of them did, some of them very much did not. And by 2016, I couldn't have even named 10 originals coming out that year that had a shot of doing decent numbers. To the point where Warcraft stood out that summer because at least it was a new to you franchise or a new to cinema franchise. It wasn't another Ninja Turtles, another Independence Day, another X-Men, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, I know I talk about this a lot, forgive me, but the ways in which that changed almost in an instant.
Mm.
And
I
mean, in 2015, we're talking about, Pitch Perfect 2, Spy, et cetera, et cetera. Within 2 years, The House would be not screened for critics and would make $10.
dang.
I would argue the only significant change is the comedies. I feel like looking at this, I was looking at the box office earlier for this summer, and then just kind of coasting through the others. It's like there's not a lot different here that I'm seeing beyond the fact that yes, comedies specifically, for whatever reason, have been the one thing that have gone down. There's still every summer sequels, franchises, reboots, what have you, as well as yeah, one or two like star-driven thing that's either a IP of some kind, but maybe it's not one that's been cashed up on. Super like it that hasn't changed that. I mean, looking at even like right now, like Weapons is going to be in the top 10 of the biggest movies of the summer. I mean, coming out of nowhere. Like there's always some outliers. Like I'm not saying that there are more originals than ever or anything like that, but I do think the ratio hasn't altered all that much with the exception of one genre. And why that genre? We all have reasons as far as, action comedies taking the place of just comedies or what have you, but that's the only significant one that I see that's like been a weird digression compared to where, how movies used to be.
Well, it's funny when we say how it used to be, but going from 82 to 93 to 2004 to this, like there's been like, and we bitch about IPs, but they've always been there. It's just what's popular is different. And I think there became a bit more of a focus. So it's more of a slant than things just overhauled overnight. Because when we went back to summer of 82, it was Star Trek and Rocky 3. And like, it's like, okay, there's these
I
franchises, there's stuff they based a lot more stuff off books back in the day. Those were
I
like the mining, the thing
I,
to
I would
mine. But
argue that the 80s are more in line with now than the 90s or the 2000s, though.
oh
Like I
yeah,
do think the 80s is very much a commercial redirect
Yeah.
from the wild wastelands of the 70s and the
right.
tour theory taking hold or what have you. 80s is like commercials, music videos, sell, 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 Reagan. Where the 90s took it back a bit because you look at that
Well, the
93 list.
independent film rose, and that became a lot of the
Independent
hot
film
new
rose for
people.
sure,
Yeah,
but that 93 list still like are there? Yes, there's things like The Fugitive and
there
and uh
was. They wanted
and
to find the next Star Wars, by in the '90s by doing new things rather than digging up
it
IP.
ref,
That was kind of the search.
it reflects there, and even 2004, yes, also has sequels and stuff like that. But I found it interesting looking at 82,
Hmm.
even 84, looking at those years and being like, I mean, yes, obviously there's great movies coming out of those
Hmm.
times, but they are rooted a lot in the same kind of sensibilities of what gets greenlit as 2015 or even now.
Well, Greenland and what people go see, like
Yes,
that's like
yeah.
a lot of things. Like, this is Age of Ultron. You go back, 30 years. It was Batman Forever. Like it just switched
I
superhero
which
hands.
I think it speaks to a retreat to escapism as opposed to a willingness to explore a
Hmm.
bit more, which I think the 90s did have an opportunity for. It's less about I only want to see things that are going to make me happy. And you know what? Maybe there are some more interesting ideas that I can go after in the 90s or even to an extent the 2000s. I don't know. We got the fucking
But yeah,
between
everybody.
between 9/11 and Bush, there's a lot
Yeah,
of less optimism going on, but
but
still.
people went to Batman Forever, and then later in the week saw another movie or something. It wasn't just like
Yeah.
that's the one,
And
and the wait
and
for
that
VHS people are nowhere near as dangerous as the wait for streaming people.
well, because the theatrical window was longer.
Yeah.
And some of that is self-inflicted, although I mean,
Hmm.
I don't know how much. And yeah, as you said, I mean, for me, it's like, when I'm always whining about the death of the studio programmer, it's that the segment of the movie going audience that used to go to the event movie, they'd see Batman Forever and Bridges of Madison County.
Hmm.
Now we're lucky if they show up to Batman Forever.
Yeah,
The
exactly. You're not wrong. I mean, you
Yeah,
now the hook of the summer is this dinosaur has a new head.
Yeah.
Where back in '93, we're like the hook of this movie is the climax. We've told you is a whale jumping over rocks, and you know what's going to happen. Like you know they're going to succeed at that,
Yes.
and yet you're still going to go in droves and watch every bit of this drama leading up to the very moment that it's advertised in this entire movie.
Well, I was stunned. Like we've touched on weapons a couple times, but that trailer shows a lot of the end of the movie, but it didn't bug me. I wasn't thinking about it. I was like, when it happened in the movie, I was like, oh yeah, that was in the trailer. Oh wow, that was in the trailer. That's what my
I
mind went to. I was
Yeah.
like, oh
Weapons is Warner Brothers and knowing how to market something and keep
yeah,
contextualization out of it, where there's no mistaking what's happening in Free Willy. Like,
right.
that's the movie. Like, oh, I
Right.
wonder what context led to this scenario. Probably must have been afraid of the fish in the water.
Michael Ironside threatening a whale with a gun.
Well, it must
That's what
have been a
happened
shark
to
in
it.
there. He had to jump away to get it to be safe.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Michael
Wow, what
Madsen.
kind of Stargate did you watch?
Yeah.
Uh, um.
Um,
Speaking of
but yeah, I
IPs,
mean, it's, and I know I mentioned this. I think the second to last episode, whatever the episode
Yeah.
that just dropped before we recorded this one, which is that going back to the '82, it's a lot of the stuff that Hollywood is banking on now are the same quote unquote franchises that barely worked in the '80s to the extent that
which
they did.
good segue, Scott. My most important note here: Terminator should have died here, but we got another shot a few years down the road.
It's still, at least it's better than this one.
It was better.
Most things are.
Significantly better than this one, I'll say.
It was, but like Terminator,
Fantastic Four should have
but
died
nobody
here,
showed
too.
up. Nobody still showed up.
Yeah. And I'd argue to a certain extent, Fantastic Four, decent movie, fun, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it's not unlike Terminator, where you made two versions that weren't particularly awe-inspiring. And then you finally did one that gave people what they wanted. And they were like, okay, you burned me too many fucking times already. No, thank you.
What happened? So like that movie might have done amazing had Arnold not kept coming back for every fucking Terminator movie. If he like did maybe just Terminator 3 and called it a day and then comes back for Dark Fate after they do these, like that might have been a bigger deal. Him and Linda Hamilton back together. But who
Yeah,
knows?
no,
Nobody cared when it came out. Like so
I mean, because most people also don't like three in the same way that we do either. So it's been a long time since they've
right.
had something
But if he
quality
does
around Terminator.
3, if he still does 3, and then he doesn't come back till what year was Dark
No, you're
Fate?
not. Yeah, you're not wrong.
2020?
As far as that goes, yes, having
Yeah,
the legacy sequel aspect of it, as far as getting these two very specific stars stacked together again
because he's still
for
kind of
this
in
thing,
Salvation.
yeah, but even I mean, I know what you're saying, but
Yeah.
like, yes, if you subtract those and put a lot of time in, and suddenly you're here, sure. That's it. That's Terminator. Like should have died here. I could see that. That makes sense. But let it live on in comics or TV
Anime.
adaptations or what have you. Anime, which works out well so far. That's fine. Fantastic Four, I think, is a different story. I don't. You can't just leave. Like that's such a huge thing in like comics. You can't just say like, we're not going to try it anymore. You try it. You keep doing it. You want to hope audience respond to it. It's not even like this movie bombed. Is it underperforming by a little bit? Sure, but it's not like this movie's had horrible reception. No one ever wants to see Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic again. It's just doing whatever business because of a combination of things. One,
Yeah.
yes, we've done it a couple times. Okay, but two, it's not like Marvel was great and then Fantastic Four happened. Like Marvel's been struggling. Like that's the problem.
I agree with you in a vacuum. I just think it's another variation of the industry is so obsessed with IP and the abstract and the existence of IP and look at all this shit we've got that even multiple instances of failure is not enough to say, oh no, this time they'll show up. And again, Judge Dredd.
I don't
two movies.
I don't disagree
both
with
of them
you,
are bombs.
but there is a specific kind of narrative that's associated with this very specific comic thing going on, right? That they want to have to be able to uphold. That should overpass the notion of we've made it in other forms before because it's the Fantastic Four. It's a notable. It'd be like, yeah, let's make like 6 other X-Men movies and never mention Wolverine. Like you're gonna have to do it eventually. Like it's just a part of it. That's just the thing.
You're thinking that'd be kind of cool, actually.
There's plenty of X-Men without Wolverine. There's
Dude,
so much.
That's why I'm
But
saying that the
you can't
X-Men
not do it at
do
some
not
point.
need MCU. That universe is so full like of mutants and notable characters that are bigger known entities. They have like 50 characters that are more known than a lot of the MCU
It's
people,
why I
like
think
more than Shang-Chi, who like even But
It's why I think if they're wise, and after we get through Secret Wars and we're in phase 7 or whatever the hell, they would devote a whole phase to just X-Men movies doing their own thing that have nothing to do with the rest of the MCU.
yep,
And then the end of that one would be the whatever piece would be put in the setup that would lead to Avengers versus X-Men, a comic series of its own. That was a whole crossover event. That would be your next Avengers movie.
yep.
That'd be your way to go. You just put a lot of other things on pause, or at least every other movie would be an X-Men film mix of, whatever three, whatever two, whatever one, all that stuff. But
So,
that won't happen, but
as opposed to, my idea where I'm like, all right, have Secret Wars end the MCU, take 5 years off, and slowly reboot with just X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Fresh
Stop it.
start.
Take 5 years off so Disney could use all their other properties that are currently working for them.
Yeah. I was about to say, if you need to reboot the MCU or start over, the X-Men's a great place to start.
Wait. Coming soon, The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Okay, I'd see that.
Nailed it.
Scott and I were like the only guys who liked that movie, but
Tron
I love that
Europa.
movie, but-
I'm a fan of Sorcerer's
okay,
Apprentice.
good.
I'm baffled that they're like, oh yeah, National Treasure 2 was a big hit. What should we do next? Come on, John. What Joe Turtletop? What do you think? The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Hey, Jared Baruchel's pretty free. I love that kid. Let's go make that movie instead. Like, what's the plan there? Like,
That's
like
like
a weird. It's
like-
a weird pivot to be like, let's not
You'd
finish a
think-
trilogy of National Treasure movies. Let's do this.
And you'd think after that bombs, Disney would be like, hey, assholes, you now owe us a National Treasure 3 right now.
Well, that's like the same tale of like with Romancing the Stone, Jewel of the Nile, and then War of the Roses.
Yeah, but nobody liked Jewel of the Nile. Wasn't that part of
Yeah.
the point of that one?
This is true.
True.
Except for Billy Ocean's accountant.
But I'm just saying those weird, like, we got back together, but we didn't make part 3
I
movies.
get you, but it's not like Zemeckis did part 2 either. He left also. Like,
Yeah.
and then you have
Oh,
Danny
no.
DeVito.
DeVito.
I know what you're saying. There's another example that I can't. What is it? Where they made 2, but then they didn't make the third one for some reason. What am I not thinking of?
Is
Well,
it?
Well, Sherlock Holmes.
Thank you, Sherlock Holmes. The Sherlock Holmes
Yeah.
exact example. And somehow it's been really hard to do another one since then, right?
I think you're right. I think you said this is like Downey probably didn't want to actually do all the physical work that be associated.
He doesn't want to be
with
bare
that. He paid
chested, bare
$60
knuckle
million
boxing.
to be in a suit.
Yeah,
Or not be in a suit.
he's getting $60 million to like wear, Under Armour and then have CG go
Yeah.
over him. So
Mhm.
so they can perfect that for technology for Sherlock. He's not moving an inch. He'll just be Doolittle. Everyone's favorite.
Yes.
Love it. I have a note here as well. Video game movies both sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Hitman Agent 47 and Pixels.
See,
What's
there's a
hilarious is
franchise that
that-
stopped after Hitman Agent 42.
We talked about Hitman like last week or whatever the hell, and then 2 weeks from now, in 2015, Transporter Refueled comes out. It's like,
Yep.
I can remember going to Fox like in like 2-3 week sessions, being like, did we just do this? Like, what's happening?
Guys, really proud of your
And it
movies
just-
this year or what?
Like they
It was,
screened
you know,
them. So
Again, it was an IP for
that's a
the sake
step
of
up.
IP kind of thing, where if your franchise is vaguely well known and stars a white guy, let's keep trying.
Yeah. That
I'm
was
kind of shocked we haven't had another Hitman movie in the last decade.
That seems like so prime for a series. I'm not sure where that's not happening. Put that on Hulu. Get Oliphant back.
all of it, yeah.
He works all the time these days. He's popping up in everything. Is it Stick? Is it Alien?
Yeah.
That guy can't sit down.
He's willing to do whatever it takes. Yeah. Yeah, so the video game thing's not hitting there. Yeah, I don't know what any other notes you guys have from this year of learning and
Well, just it's and Aaron mentioned this too. It's like this was a summer where it seemed like Hollywood was finally understanding the value of having movies that weren't just targeted at people that looked like me and treating them not as counter programming, but as A-level event films unto themselves.
Mhm.
And this is the only summer that happened, but this seemed to be the one summer where there was a lot of them and they weren't just high-profile Disney franchise flicks. And that's no shade on Disney. Disney got a little ahead of the curve on that.
Yeah.
For whatever
Well,
reason, Bob Iger doesn't seem to remember that. But this is, again, you had Pitch Perfect 2, Straight Out of Compton. Yes, a lot of them Universal, frankly. Furious 7. Yeah, I know that was April, but whatever. Trainwreck. Did I say Trainwreck already? And that was one big reason why they won market share in 2015. People like to think of, understandably, Disney 2015 is a year Disney took over, but Universal won that year. It was close. And also, you started seeing enough of these where when one like Tomorrowland or Hot Pursuit shot the bed commercially, nobody was saying, I guess women movies don't work anymore.
They don't. Women aren't funny.
well, I mean, this is also about to collide with the Me Too movement or whatnot, where there's going to be a lot more emphasis on what we should be doing, should have been doing, ...
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, not to be a broken record, but films like Straight Outta Compton, Dope, Pitch Perfect, etc., they felt like the future. This is what we're going to be getting from now on, along with, the Hitman Agent 47 and such nonsense.
I'd argue we have got that. I mean, as far as a lot of these blockbusters that do capitalize on the choices being made, whether it's looking at, yes, a Captain Marvel movie that makes $1 billion or a Spider-Man that features Miles Morales in the lead and makes 600 billion, things are happening. It's
Yeah.
For sure.
And again, you're right. It feels like less because the bottom so aggressively fell out on the
it's just
movies.
the variety of those kinds of movies. It's all amounts to superhero flick. Like that's what it comes down to ultimately.
And I think to a certain extent, the industry used the idea of, what if we made a Star Wars with a girl, or what if we made a Wonder Woman, as sort of an excuse to not make anything else of rom-coms, domestic thrillers, et cetera, that would have stereotypically been female centric. And one of the issues right now is
female centric things with completely male supporting casts.
Or the wave of like Halle Berry genre thrillers became niche as opposed to mainstream releases.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I like Halle Berry genre thrillers.
I love them. She's doing the good work.
There should be 4 of those every year with different actresses.
And then she goes gets a paycheck on a John Wick movie, and then goes back to her thrillers. Yeah.
You should work inside out. The stuff in the brackets first, and then square this up. Yep.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Dom says he's throwing a birthday party tonight at Verse. Said he'd really love the pleasure of your company.
He did not say that.
He did. I swear.
Lord. Well, I'll go if you go. I'll save you a dance.
So, you guys want to turn the page and move on to our worst 5 movies of summer of 2015 at 10?
Can do.
Aaron, we'll start with you.
Just 5?
Just 5. It's tough. It's very tough this summer.
Well, when you rank them the entire time as you're doing it, it's real easy. It's go to the old list, the Letterbox, which is up now. You can if you find me on Letterbox, Aaron's PS4. My list for the summer 2015 is there. Number 5, we have Sinister 2. Number 4, we have Chocolate City. Number 3, we have Faith of Our Fathers. Number 2, we have The Gallows. And number 1 with multiple bullets is Terminator: Genesis.
All right. Scott.
I'm off the deep end, watch as I dive in. I just completely farted on the lyrics.
I'm in the gallows now?
Oh, that's eventually, yes.
Yeah.
On the deep end.
Oh, yeah, please.
My feet never
sing
touch the ground. Anyway, you get the idea. You can cut that.
No.
Damn it.
Even
I actually did more than 5, so I'm just going to do these in random order.
Put some reverb
I have
on
more than 5. I didn't read more than 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, Jesus. Okay, I'll find 5. Okay. You already said The Gallows, but yes, The Gallows. You already said Faith of Our Fathers. So I'm going to do with the Vatican tapes, which is incredibly boring into the last 5 minutes when it's like, I would have seen that movie. Why did you not give me that movie? Also known as Matthew McConaughey's Gold. Let's see. Hot Pursuit, a movie so bad, I temporarily thought maybe women aren't funny after all. Jokes aside, and we mentioned this during the episode, but rewatching that one, it was less painful because I'm
Remember how I just gave you 5
watching it,
movies?
whatever. What was that?
Remember how I just gave
okay.
Brandon 5 movies?
Whatever.
We got to review them again.
If only there were episodes we could go back to
putting
hear
in
our
the
exact thoughts
effort.
on these.
Hot Pursuit. Tell me about that movie.
It was the first Netflix movie. Anyway, not literally, but in spirit. Okay, so Vatican tapes, Hot Pursuit, No Escape, which kind of disappointed me by being even more offensive than I was expecting. Because I having not seen it 10 years ago, I figured, okay, this looked like problematic, what we shouldn't be making garbage 10 years ago, but maybe as a movie, it's fine. Like, no, it's, first of all, after the first 30 minutes, it's boring as hell because it plays most of its cards. And yeah, Hitman Agent 47. Enough said.
All right.
And even though Aaron said it too, there's really only one pick for the worst movie of summer 2015. It has to be Terminator Geonosis.
Oh, the planet where they make clones?
Yeah, the clone planet.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
Did I mispronounce the stupid title?
That's
Oh no,
Camino.
that's
you're talking
Camino.
the
Where
bug planet.
the bug planet where they're secretly building doing
the Clone Wars begin.
They're doing the blueprint for the Death Star.
Yeah.
Where the architects all
Where
lived.
Count Dooku's hiding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, messed that up. Okay. My 5. I've got Chocolate City.
Chocolate City.
Faith of Our Fathers. The Gallows. Hitman Agent 47. And of course, Terminator Genesis. I would like to give nods to Max and War Room, but I gotta say something. And to those listeners and to you people who like to claim things, you notice none of the 3 of us said Fantastic Four.
No.
Yeah.
See?
It has ambition, which I can't say
It's
about
not
any of the
that
10
bad.
movies that I have on this
Yeah.
list.
And
It's still a bad movie, but it's like it's not like the worst movie on the. It wasn't
No.
even the worst movie of 2015, let alone even the small sect of the summer. Like, it's like I said, if you fascinate me, you're not awful. Like that's
Mhm.
that's the thing.
And I still think Pixels is bad, but
There's
whatever.
heart there. There's a
Yeah.
pulse. There's whatever. Everybody looked like they were having fun. Right?
It's about as good as Happy Gilmore too.
Whew. Well,
I will take your word for that. And thank you for your sacrifice.
The only one that wasn't mentioned that we didn't is Barely Lethal. That's my number 10 on here.
okay.
Fair.
That one.
I think otherwise,
That one
yeah,
lucked out in being unmemorable and me remembering. Oh yeah, Haley Steinfeld's in that.
Yeah. War Room just missed the top 5.
Yeah.
Mr.
War Room-
Boogan stomped his way into the room, so I
Right.
had to think about
War Room missed out. It made my honorable mentions because I laughed some at points in War Room, and I'm like, okay, I can't put you in the 5 because I got some giggles.
I'm not going to say Chocolate City was good, but it didn't offend me in any particular way. So
I just
It offended me.
that's fair. So didn't No Escape offended me.
Okay.
My boy got a girlfriend. Like, man, it's been forever.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been like 6 years since Sheila, and
Yep.
that only lasted like 5 weeks.
Yep. There was Debbie.
Debbie didn't even tell you where she lived.
Yeah, she thought I was a psycho. She kept calling me Dexter.
What I'm saying is you got to go for it. Listen, Aaron, you need to focus if you want to take it to the next level.
Right.
You have to. Like, you got to give it everything you want if you want this one, man. It's like when I lost the championship in 2011, I worked on my game twice as hard, worked on my post-up game, and we wound up winning the championship twice.
Yeah, yeah. I don't feel like that applies to me, but I appreciate the thought.
Aaron, you have to take a risk.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You have to. It's like when I decided to go back to Cleveland. I wasn't totally sure they was going to welcome me back, man. But they did. They welcomed me back with open arms and an open heart.
Yeah, they did. Again, I feel like that applies more to you. Like, I don't even live in Cleveland, but again, I appreciate the thought.
Cleveland, Ohio? You talking about the home of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Or maybe we go down to Canton to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You know Superman was created in Cleveland?
Yeah, no, I know Superman was created in Cleveland. You've told me that a number of times.
You ever see Cuyahoga Sunset?
No.
Do you know Cleveland's great for the whole family?
Yes, I do. You tell me that all the time. You randomly just text me that.
And what's
which
wrong
is
with that?
Weird. It's weird.
I got free texting.
Why are you trying to always sell me on Cleveland?
When are you gonna come to Cleveland?
I'll come when I have the time. I just don't have the time right now. I'll come when I have the time. I've just been really busy.
You visit me in Miami all the time.
Yeah, but that's Miami. I mean,
What's the difference between Miami and Cleveland? It's the same.
you're right. It's the same.
We'll move on to our discoveries. Now, this is movies that we didn't know about maybe beforehand, or like last year I had one that I was revisiting and I was like, oh, okay, this is much better than I had before. So 3 of these each. We can start with Aaron again. We'll start with you.
All right, so this is a tougher one because I just frankly didn't have too many discoveries. There are some docs.
That's what I was like, yeah, Aaron might have seen like everything.
There were some docs I cut up on that I haven't seen, but like even the docs, it's not like there were docs where like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Like it's stuff that I knew, but it was just interesting, like seeing, okay, this is what that is.
They jailed the white man.
Give it
Wow.
that. So for discoveries, the main one I have is Welcome to Me, because that's just a movie
Yeah.
I knew even knowing what it was, I didn't know like the tone exactly. It was a lot funnier than I figured it would be. It does have a strong Kristen Wiig performance. I really like what the movie was doing, and it ultimately is very good. So like that worked out. I did like I tried to like flip it to like surprises ish that come with as far as the rest of these go. So like Ted 2 stood up better watching it now, which I was that was a nice discovery for me. Just watching
Ted 2 was funny. I was like, oh
Ted
yeah.
2 was like
For some reason, there's this like it's not good thing going on. I'm like,
I was like, no, it's got a lot more stuff going for it. Do I wish it was a better movie? Sure, but it certainly wasn't not enjoyable to watch Ted 2.
That one probably won my aged best award.
Yeah. Let's see. The same actually applies to Pitch Perfect too. It landed better for me now, like in retrospect, watching it, being like, well, this one I like more than the first one, so it has that going for it. And I wouldn't. There's enough stuff in here that I enjoy. And then Mr. Holmes and Irrational Man still suck. That was the other discovery. Still bad movies, those two. And of course, Manglehorn was no Danny Collins. Manglehorn.
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 Got my keys.
Dun, dun.
Is your car locked?
The locksmith with a pass.
Yes, you're on suspension, Manglehorn. You shouldn't even be on this case.
Got a son. We need to talk. Met his old baseball teammate. I'll get this lock open. I used to coach. When I get it in there, wow, there we go. Get on. Unlocked.
This concludes my discovery section.
All right, yeah. Scott.
In random order, the D Train. I did not love it, but I thought it was a fascinating. I had never seen it, or at least I didn't remember it. Again, it was Jack Black back when he wasn't just the kid-friendly comic actor.
Yeah, when he's doing like Bernie and yeah.
When I say just, that's not an insult. It's just he's exclusively to a certain extent. Yes, he was still doing stuff like Bernie and the one Netflix movie that escapes my memory. Forgive me. And it was very interesting to see him basically playing a straight man. Pardon the pun. And yes, it's a very awkward movie. It's very cringe humor, yada yada yada, and what have you. But even though I didn't love it, I really enjoyed watching it just as a time capsule kind of thing. People, Places, Things, a film that probably I don't think I'd ever even heard of, give or take, and I just really enjoyed it as just a well-written, well-acted, kind, sincere, empathetic human comedy. And I don't remember if I had kind of seen it when it first came out, sort of like half watching while I'm bottle feeding a newborn, but I really enjoyed rewatching She's Funny that way in a time where I was able to give it more of my attention, because it's just kind of delightful in a way that I wasn't expecting. And it's just got a great cast. It's fun. It's a slamming doors farce. And it's really enjoyable.
Yeah, see the director's cut when you get a chance.
I will.
Yeah. Okay, for me, I also have People, Places, Things. That same week, that episode also landed Mistress America, which I thought was excellent. And then my third one is The End of the Tour. Hadn't seen that one before. Interesting movie. Enjoy the performances. Those were my discoveries.
Patrick.
Susan.
Hey, Patrick. Yes.
I was given specific instructions by Elaine to tailor these gadgets to you. These are not yours.
Oh. Is it a rape whistle?
Elaine wanted you to only be carrying items a single woman traveling through Europe would have.
But she could get that at any pharmacy.
Not this whistle. When you blow through this whistle, a small poisonous dart flies out, neutralizing your target. Also, it needs your fingerprints on it to work.
Okay, that is really neat. That is really super cool.
This antifungal spray can freeze and disable any security system.
Wow, that is quite an image to be carrying all over Europe.
It's also a pepper spray.
Why not just make it look like pepper spray?
It's a pretty good idea. All right, well, next time.
Well, I can wait if you want to print up a new label.
No, I'd have to turn the printer on again. I don't really want to.
From this time. Okay. Now the biggie, what everybody's waiting for. Our top tens, which this is really weird because I know we all have the same number one, I assume.
Probably.
Yeah.
Should we count up to 10? So 10's a surprise, or
I have my 11. I think we should just do our.
Do
11
we all have
too.
an 11? I have an 11 as well.
Yeah.
All right. So we will
We'll count up. We'll count up still. It will just all land on the same one for number one. But we'll still have 10 other movies.
10. Yeah, it's just because they have the same number one. I wonder if the listeners are like, what's their number one?
That's more fun because I want.
It's going to be fucking Fantastic Four. God damn these guys!
I get to include one more movie, which is great.
All right. I'll do that. Yeah, we'll go 11, top 11 because number one is just obviously Aaron. We've been having you go first, so let's just keep this going. Obviously, yeah.
Like the whole list, or you want to round robin it, or
okay, we can round robin it. Let's go. Let's start at. We haven't done it this way. We'll go round around with our number 11s.
Okay.
Aaron.
My number 11 is Magic Mike XXL. Just fun stuff. Who needs plot? Said Channing Tatum and his co-writer. Let's just have a fun road trip movie where things happen and we ultimately just have a good time. Dramatic things ensue, kind of, but not really. It's more about high fives and guys dancing.
All
Good
right.
stuff.
Scott, your number 11.
It was also Magic Mike.
Hey.
For all the same reasons.
Okay. I just talked about it, but my number 11 is Mistress America. Good
All
stuff
right.
there. So Aaron to number 10.
Straight out of Compton. Been here for years. No, that's still calling it a comeback. Different lyric.
No.
But Straight out of Compton. A biopic that does the formula very well. Good cast, well produced. Does the stuff that I expect from this kind of movie, but does it well and does it with enough style. I like this movie quite a bit.
Gotcha. Scott, 10.
Slow West.
All right.
Which is one that I think I had seen briefly, like in 2016. And it was another one of those that I watched it, I enjoyed it, whatever, but rewatching it, it really worked for me for all the reasons that we discussed on the show. And it's a pleasantly cynical, pessimistic Western that still delivers some of the genre tropes in a way that isn't just a deconstruction. It works as a human drama as well.
The type of movie that should have been the one to do Age of Ultron box office numbers. My number 10 is Spy. This movie cracks me up, holds up good. On the better half of the spy movies of 2015. It's a terrific Melissa McCarthy turn. Of course, Statham rules in this movie. It's just, a lot of fun.
All right.
9.
Number 9 is Far from the Madding Crowd. I'm just a big old fan of this movie. I like the way they use this story. I think it's well produced. I'm a big fan of Matthew Arts. I think he's very good here. And Milligan, like, it's just a good cast. It, yeah, like, I'm not some literary scholar that can tell you if this is like the definitive version of Far from the Madding Crowd, but in terms of just how it chooses to do this story, I've always had a soft spot for this one. So I like this. I like this one quite a bit.
All right, Scott.
Love and Mercy, which then and now is a fascinating example of a musical biopic that doesn't necessarily look and feel like a conventional musical biopic, that is in itself a gripping and engrossing psychological drama that also remembers to show you the artistic process and all of its angsty nitty-gritty. And it's just, not to repeat stuff that we said on the show, but it's one of the last great mainstream John Cusack lead performances. And that's just because he went on to, he's been busy elsewhere of late. And it's one of 6 or 7 Paul Giamatti as a manager performances of this era. This might be the best. And yeah, it's really good. And I enjoyed it a lot.
I too spotted Love and Mercy at number 9. Yeah, like Scott said, I love the structure of the film. I like this is one of my favorite John Cusack performances and a career of great performances from him. I like watching how the soup is made too with pet sounds. Cool stuff. It doesn't overly focus on a lot of things, but it gives such a good enough focus that the things bleed into one another, and there's like a rhythm with how the film goes, and I really like that. So that's my number 9, Love and Mercy. Aaron,
My number 8 is Avengers: Age of Ultron. That's the one with Ultron. I've always been a fan of the Avengers films in general. I've always liked Ultron quite a bit. I think it does what I want Avengers movies to do. Brandon, you've properly said multiple times that it's the only Avengers movie where it's just about the Avengers having an Avengers mission. No other strings or ties or whatnot. It's like, yeah, this is the day and this is the week in the life of the Avengers. And I think it's very accomplished in doing what it needs to. I think Joss Whedon steps up as far as challenging himself as a director and a writer this time around, even with whatever compromise he had to make in the process. I think it's a rousing adventure, action, sci-fi superhero movie, and I think it holds up really well in the grand scheme of things.
Gotcha. Scott, number 8.
I Will See You in My Dreams.
I said number 8. We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
We'll talk about that later, Freddie. Jesus. No. Okay.
Yes, Brett Haley's picture. It is just a really sweet and moving and insightful, middle-aged, if not end-of-life, romantic melodrama. It's funny. It's terrifically well acted by people, fuck, June Squibb, Bliff Dyer, Sam Elliott, yada, yada, yada. I really fucking like it. It made my heart beat loud.
Gotcha.
Hey-o.
All right. My number 8 is the only one in my top 11 that includes a superhero. It's Ricky and the Flash. I got jokes. A big fan of Diablo Cody's work. As I've gotten older and returning to her stuff, like I appreciate her even more with things, and I think this is just a fun turn from Meryl Streep. Rick Springfield's terrific in this. It's just a really cool, interesting movie, and shows some of the dangers of continue to chase your dreams and stuff, and what kind of, at certain ages and certain places you've been in life, what kind of like things you can kind of leave in the dust, or kind of problems you can cause and stuff like that. It's an interesting look there. So number 7, Aaron.
I flirted with making a list that was just all non-tent poles, just for the sake of it, and those two that you just mentioned would both be in there easily.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that scene with my dreams. I guess that counts as a discovery because I had not seen that one before. I knew it would be good. I just never got to it, but like it really is a good movie. My number 7 is Slow West. The fact that I have Slow West at number 7 just speaks to how much I like the rest of the movies on this list because I love Slow West. It's in my top of that decade. I think it rules. Ben Mendelson gets to wear a big old coat like Warren Beatty does, and the other one became Isabella. Great shootout at the end. Fassbender being Fassbender in his prime. Like, there's nothing to scoff at with Solo as it rocks. So.
Scott, number 7.
Ricky and the Flash.
Hey,
there we go.
It's a terrific final film from one of our best humanist filmmakers. It's probably Meryl Streep's best performance of the decade, give or take. And the fact that she did not get an Oscar nomination for that one, grumble, grumble.
They weren't ready for Ricky.
They weren't. And I have Diablo Cody is and remains one of our best writers in terms of capturing the minutia of small town Americana in a way that doesn't necessarily point at itself in a somewhat, potentially mocking fashion. And it's just a really warm, empathetic, small scale, low stakes comedy drama with just a murderer's row of actors. And just everything works.
My number 7 is Cop Car. This is a cool little grindhouse movie that I've spoken highly of for years. Kevin Bacon's awesome in it, and it's just got this. I just says a lot with so little, and is impressive filmmaking on the lower end scale that I think is just a fun, terrific rob. It's what it is, but it's the heightened. It's high, like the prestige version of, those little a B grindhouse thriller of the 70s. It just done very well, and I had such aspirations for the filmmaker following it, but
and all he did was disappoint you with multiple hugely successful Spider-Man movies.
I know.
One of which is really good, I would say.
And then just got the pal around of George Clooney and Brad Pitt for a couple
hours. I did My Wolves. I don't know what the problem
Wolves is
was.
fine. It's fine.
A fine. Yeah.
It's in the upper tier of streaming movies.
My adult, watched it and moved on with my life. Enjoy stuff like that time to time. But yeah. So number 6.
It was certainly better than Happy Gilmore 2. I'll say that.
Oh, way better than fucking Happy Gilmore.
I will take your word for it, and thank you for your sacrifice.
My number 6 is Dope. Love Dope. This movie does everything for me, and again, somehow it's only number 6. It gave me. I mean, it should be more. I think is wonderful here. It's got a great overall cast. Lots of fun. It's funny because I just remember Rick Fox is in this movie. And Rick Fox is in Highest to Lowest, and like Rick Fox is always he just pops up and things. He always makes
random,
me smile.
yeah.
He's such a like welcome presence, even though he adds nothing to the conversation beyond just being like, "Hey, it's Rick Fox." But anyway, great soundtrack. Love what it's doing as far as challenging the hip hop culture of another time, blasting it with today and the youth and how they interact with what their version of nostalgia is mixed with their interpretation of how they can handle life on certain streets and what society expects from them and intersect that somehow with Bitcoin of all things. Like it's just doing a lot and it's juggling it really well and it feels fresh and vibrant and hip and yet it's made by a filmmaker who's been working already for like 20 years in the industry. Like it's just really good. Dope's rocks.
All right. Scott, number 6.
The Gift, which I thought was a terrific thriller. With just another spectacular Jason Bateman quasi-dramatic turn, in a weird way, sort of playing against type in that, at least for me, I often see him as a guy who you think is an asshole, but turns out to be a relatively nice person, or at least decent.
He's just shifted like a couple degrees to the right, and that's all he's really doing,
Yeah. And in this, of course, he comes up, he's a character who I would think by default has a certain amount of our sympathy because he seems to be, being attacked, him and his wife. And of course, as the film goes on, we know it's a little bit more complicated than that. It's just a terrific old school potboiler that, among its other many, many, many pleasures, including a spectacular Rebecca Hall lead performance, almost before she got, I don't want to say typecast, but she became like the most high-toned scream queen you can imagine, and I mean that as a compliment because she's awesome in the genre films she does make.
She's a Lily Taylor of today, as far as just this poor woman. What does she do to anybody?
Don't move into that house.
Don't get into that relationship. So,
Don't befriend that radioactive dinosaur.
all of those things.
And among other things, I mean, it's an incredibly tense and effective thriller with almost no violence or really no even implied violence. I mean, without getting into details, in that it's all of its tension and suspense is about interpersonal relationships and awkward conversations and what have you in a way that just is incredibly effective. And not to be a broken record, but blah blah blah. Films like this felt like the future. This was STX's first release. They hit it out of the park, and I thought they were gonna stick around for the long haul.
My number 6, Magic Mike XXL. It's one of the funniest movies of the summer, and this is a movie you can just flip on at any time. You need to be put in a good mood. You put this on. It's got one of the best scenes of the decade in there. It's amazing this film works as well as it does, and it's such a shift from the first movie. And I never thought like, oh, I want to go back to that world and hang some more. And yeah, I do. It's a lot of fun to do so. Filmed really well by Steven Soderbergh, one of our great cinematographers of all time. But yeah, number 5, Aaron.
My number
His work on
5.
the Hunger Games was awesome.
I'd argue it is quite good on the Hunger Games.
Oh no, it is fine.
My number 5 is Mistress America, the film that fights Marriage Story for being my favorite Noah Baumbach movie. I think it's wonderful. It's hilarious. Greta Gerwig just shines here as this chaos beacon of hyperactive talking, mixed with an ensemble cast of people that are just really fun to be around. I like Lola Kirk a lot, so like getting her in a lead role is nice to see. It's, a real quick trip. It's what, 80 something minutes, but it packs so much in terms of just like dialogue that I'm happy to follow along with and have a good time listening to and all that. It just does the job for me. Mistress America was one that I was most excited to just watch for the sake of having to watch it this year.
Gotcha. Scott, 5.
Pixar's Inside Out, a film that, despite my misgivings about the sequel, and despite the apparently lessons not learned in terms of its success, yada, 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 is still, I would argue, a terrific, thoughtful, nuanced, visually imaginative fantasy adventure story that, on its own terms, in a vacuum, is still one of Pixar's better originals, at least from the last 15 years or so, give or take. I mean, to say it's one of their best originals of the decade, because obviously, that, Kanto, Soul, and Turning Red by default.
And Kanto is Disney.
Yeah,
fuck, what did I mean?
Coco?
Coco.
Turning Red. No.
You said Turning Red.
Inside Out, Coco. Turning. Okay, that must have been Coco.
Coco, you missed.
Inside Out, Coco, Soul, Turning Red. But that being said, even going back to the quote unquote glory days, I think this is up there on the list. And as hard as it is not to hold what came next against it, which is entirely unfair, it's still you know what I mean. I mean, it's
like you're trying to argue like I like this movie because the movie's good. I don't like the other things that didn't have anything to do with the movie. Thanks. Like, just,
you know what I mean. Anyway, 10 years ago, I thought the film was a shield. Now it feels more like a sword in terms of giving an alibi for the company that made it to get away with being, upper tier here, artistically lazy and or not embracing the values that made this film a success 10 years ago. But it still fucking rocks.
Gotcha. My number 5 is Trainwreck. I like this movie quite a bit, and this is one of them on here that I've seen a lot more because my wife was very into this movie, and I never got bored. Always kept me up because she would like put this on to go to sleep to a lot, stuff like that, and I'd always would keep my attention, or I'd want to watch a scene, stuff like that, and just nice to see something like this. Is probably one of my more favorite Apatow movies, even though it does Have that. I always forget. It feels like it's ending, but there's still 30 minutes left. Colin Quinn, great in this movie. Also, always a big thing, and LeBron James as well. So, Trainwreck's my number 5. Aaron, let's move on to 4.
That explains why your search history in YouTube is just Ezra Miller seeing Trainwreck all the time. It's like, all right, this is really
Yeah,
good.
obviously.
Yeah. My number 4 is Mission: Impossible Dash Rogue Nation. Because it is Rogue Nation, one of the pinnacles of action filmmaking of the 2010s. It rules. It's my favorite Mission Impossible movie. It rocks in so many ways as far as the stunts and the story and the cast and the humor and the action and the drama and the intrigue and the McQuarrie being like, I got this, and Cruise being like, you do, man. And then like they just decide and make this spectacular action flick that does so many fun things in the realm of a Mission Impossible movie.
Right on. Scott, 4.
What Aaron said.
Oh, you got Mission Impossible Rogue Nation as well.
Yeah.
All right.
As some illustrious critics have said, it was better than Bourne and better than Bond.
There you go. My number 4 is
Didn't
Dope.
realize how true that would be until later that year, but I digress.
Gotcha. Yeah, my number 4 is Dope. This is like easily one of the best coming of age stories of the century that we have going on here. Like, it must be watched. It's nostalgia. It's got nostalgia, but it's not soaked in any kind of nostalgia. It's a unique thing unto itself, and I can't really think of many of this subgenre like it. And that work as well, because it even includes like action and craziness and stuff, and gets serious when it has to, but it's still plenty silly all around, and it's good, terrific character arc. So definitely, I was one of the movies I was most excited to revisit for this summer too. So Aaron, we're at the top 3.
I'll just note real quick that in Dope you have A$AP Rocky in a small role in that film, and he's quite good. And it's been a minute since I've seen him act again, and here he is. He pops up in Spike Lee's Highest to Lowest, and he's fucking terrific against Denzel of all people, doing a fantastic job. So good job, A$AP Rocky.
Yeah.
He's both, fathering Rihanna's children and acting against Denzel Washington. Like, he's doing a good job over here.
And I believe in summer of 2015, he also hits the top 10 in the charts because he's with Selena Gomez on Good For You.
There you go.
So there you go.
My number 3 is Love and Mercy. I'm a huge fan of this movie. I've always been. I think it's a fantastic music biopic. It does exactly what I wanted to do, which is find an ambitious way to tell a very interesting story, one that is unique among even other musicians as far as the kind of place and headspace that a musician was in for a certain period of time. It's the second of 2, or I guess chronologically the first of 2 Paul Giamatti's the worst performances in this summer.
He racked him up, man.
I think Cusack's great in this. This is a time when I wasn't super on train with Paul Dano, but I can't deny that he's really good in this as well. Banks is doing her job as well. Big Banks summer, by the way. We talked a lot about Elizabeth Banks.
Elizabeth Banks everywhere.
You have obviously the soundtrack by the Beach Boys at their prime, so yes, the music's pretty good. But yeah, I really, really went for this movie when it came out. I think it's in my like all of these past like few are in my top 10 of the year, and this one was no different, very high up there as well.
Gotcha, Scott.
God, Giamatti is such a monster in San Andreas.
That's right. He's got 3 movies this summer. He's all over this summer.
If you're anti-science,
he'll kill you.
My number 3 is Dope, and you both talked about it, so I'm going to be brief for me anyway. And what stood out about this film then and now is that it was a wonderful example of taking a very specific formula that had mostly been applied to young white men and making a film that was very specifically different and frankly more suspenseful and more engrossing because it was a young black man in this situation in a film that was very much aware of the different consequences that might come with quote unquote failure versus, oh no, Ferris Bueller's gonna get caught being, not really being sick, but staying home from school. But yeah, as a movie, it's thrilling, it's funny, it's lively, it's energetic, it feels of the moment. Again, felt like the future, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it fucking rocks. And one last digression. The one time I felt most optimistic about the DC universe in the 2010s is that 10-minute period where he was announced to be directing The Flash.
Rick Famuyiwa was announced as the Flash director. We're like, that sounds great.
Yeah. That's a wonderful idea. Like,
I did like the what's their names what they were attached to. Lord and Miller, when they were attached to Flash, I'm like, okay, these guys take bad ideas.
Every
and make good
name
movies
before we got to Zemeckis, I think, was actually pretty solid.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with any of these names.
It's just like,
do we all have the same number 2? Is that what's going to happen here?
No.
Looks like.
No, we don't. I have no. My
you
number.
And I might.
My number 3 is Slow West.
Okay.
Yeah, I love this movie. I was hyped for it back then when it came out, oddly enough, but delivered going back to it. Just an incredible little Western, and establishing Cody Schmidt-McPhee as one of our premier Western stars of this era, so
yeah, your number 2 will be that. Okay, never mind.
Yep. So
anyway, my number 2 obviously it's Fantastic Four. I mean, the movie just really clicks at all the cylinders. It's just such a thrill ride from beginning.
Bold of you did not put it at 4.
Yeah, my number 2. Yeah, well, we don't want to be cliche. My number 2 is Tangerine, Sean Baker's hysterical movie, screwball comedy that happens to involve sex workers that are trans. Like, speaking of like things of the future, here's a movie that's like, let's just put it all out in front of you and make it stylish as hell, super hilarious, have a whirlwind of different characters. Be I don't know, a calling card for everyone to say, hey, later on this guy's going to win a shit ton of Oscars. Tangerine rules. It's a fantastic slice of life comedy drama that happens to involve like the wildest batch of characters you can encounter in a day. And it's all set around like a donut shop, so good stuff.
There you go. Scott, number 2.
Spy, which may be my pick for. I love Spy.
Yeah.
That may be my pick offhand for my favorite mainstream Hollywood comedy of the decade. And yeah, I mean it's all Feig's masterpiece. It's the best Melissa McCarthy comedy. Certainly the best where she's a lead. And it is just filled with terrific actors having the time of their lives with just deliciously penned comic characters in a movie that is completely comic, yet somehow it still works as an action movie when it needs to, and never undercuts the quote-unquote drama of the movie that it's making. Almost never. The third act's a little, but whatever. It's won me over by that point. And the chemistry between Melissa McCarthy and Rose Byrne is just fucking amazing. It's one of the few movies that came out in the last 10 years where I was like, I very much want to see a sequel to that. I mean, that's not to say I'm opposed to, when John Wick 2 was announced, I was like, yes, okay, fine.
And her and her husband keep rubbing it in your face and saying, no, Scott,
no
sequel. Here, I'm a genie now.
Life goes on. The time has passed. I don't
get ready for Tammy.
The time for Tammy's revenge. The time for Shanghai Dawn was like 15 to 20 years ago.
I'm the life of the party.
Lives of the parties.
What's that one that we like, Scott, that only us liked? The one where she's like the businesswoman? The boss. Yeah, we're the two people that like The Boss.
And yeah, it's Jason Statham is really funny in one of a handful of performances, and I would argue made him an even bigger star by very much expanding his potential fan base. In a way
between that and Furious, this is like, good lord, yeah. What can Statham not do right now?
And
then 3 years later, he does the Meg.
And Parker.
Parker, J-Lo was time.
We don't talk about Parker. No,
I wear a hat.
Yep. Yeah. So where wears the hat?
Where he wears the hat. Boy, what was that when he wore the hat? Parker.
Stetsons are cool.
But yeah, and Spy, as a movie, it's again, this felt like the future, blah blah blah, because what it's basically about is, what the world misses out on when people are not given the opportunity to show what they can do because they're not white men. It's as simple as that. And it's also just funny as fuck, and I love it. And that's, of all the movies probably of this decade, that's the one that I probably most casually rewatched the most times.
Gotcha. My number 2 is Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. I fucking love this movie. It's so good. It's the best Mission Impossible. Rebecca Ferguson's fire in this movie, it really injects a whole different life into it. After being, oh, they're not bringing back Maggie Q. Oh, they're not bringing back Paula Patton. Wow. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I've slobbered over this movie for years and stuff. The best spy movie of the year, and probably the decade, I would say. But the 2010s, I do like Skyfall quite a bit, but that's who's battling. But yeah, and then number 1, should we all say it at the same time?
Okay, it's Fantastic Four. That's what it really is.
Pixels!
And the number 1 movie, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. No.
Damn right.
Damn right. All right. So it's obviously
Mad
Max Fury
Road.
Yo, that was bad. We are not 2 black guys talk Godzilla.
Yeah, sure. You guys really got to work on that.
Yeah, work on that. So Mad Max Fury Road, the most boring, obvious choice, even going into the summer, like going into the year, like it's Mad Max Fury Road.
I had no problem turning on this movie to be like, oh no, I got to do homework.
Oh
this week.
no,
we watch Mad Max.
One of the 3 times a year I might watch this. Jeez,
yeah.
Like this. This movie's just amazing. If you don't think so, maybe you don't like movies. I don't know.
He just goes back and forth again. There's nothing exciting about that.
Why is the guy playing guitar? Because it's awesome. But yeah, I went back,
if you
guys.
Don't think so? You should go fuck yourself.
I went back and I looked at our list from that year for our top movies, for our top 10s. Aaron does a lot further than that. But Aaron, on your list, Dope, Love and Mercy, and Mad Max Fury Road appeared. On Scott's list, he had Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, Spy, Inside Out, and Mad Max Fury Road, which all appeared here again. And then I had Cop Car, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, and Mad Max Fury Road that appeared as well. I had some just missed ones that were the next ones off, where I had The Gift, Tangerine, Inside Out, and Avengers Age of Ultron. Would have rounded out to 15, in case anybody thought I was some monster for not including some of those. But
the rule is always, if there's a movie you think we should have included, assume it's tied for 11.
Yes. Well, 12.
Or 12 in this case.
Well, Arrow's like, were we all the number 2? I'm like, what's Aaron's number 2? Because I'm like, Scott hasn't said Spy yet, so I know that's going to come up.
Yeah, no, I forgot he didn't say Spy.
Yeah. So there's that.
Tangerine was also tied at 11.
Yeah.
Or 12.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff to choose from. Okay. Well, that rounds this out. So next year, we've had your suggestions, and we put up the poll, and boy, did it get tight there. And unexpectedly, some things happen. But it should be no surprise, we will be returning back to where we came, the 1980s, as we begin the summer of 1986 at 40. 97, you made a good push. You will be happening in 2027. Yeah, you're still happening. 89, I'm disappointed in you.
I thought 89 was going to win it. Like, I thought it was going to sweep.
It had a little push toward the end, but like, I thought 89 was going to be the one that knocked out 86.
I'm just going to say right now, this is such an underdog delight for me. Like, I posed this like weeks ago. I was saying 86 would be a fun because it's my birth year. I thought it'd be cool. It's got some hits in there.
It made the most sense.
And then
at
it
the
just
end of the
suddenly
day.
became this thing where it's like it would make a lot of sense to actually do 86.
Like,
but
we shouldn't have polled the fucking viewers all of a sudden. We're like, that was it.
But I'm so happy that it worked out. I'm genuinely very excited about doing 86.
Barely fucking worked out.
And it's
eked
an
out. It was
underdog story.
down. It was down, and then it like whoop, and
It's an actual underdog story. I didn't do anything. Like I didn't do anything.
Oh.
I'm
It
so
was
happy
crazy.
about this though. It's so nice.
So yeah, but don't act like you're not excited for No Retreat, No Surrender, Last Resort, Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf, or Howard
I'm
the Duck.
entirely excited for all of these.
Don't act like
I
you're not
renounced my
excited.
wish. I renounced my wish.
Oh,
I
wait.
finally get to see Howling 2, Your Sister is a Werewolf.
Yeah. Oh wait, you guys you probably want Top Gun, Big Trouble in Little China, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Night of the Creeps, Thrill Me, you know. Okay, fine. But we restart this journey in 86, going to 97, 2008, and 2019. So we don't have any special announcements. You guys know how this goes by now. So we're going back to the 80s in 1986. You guys love the fucking Reagan shit. Whatever. Will the Challenger have happened? When did that? Because in 82 it got really creepy because there was a lot of reports about the Challenger sending parts to Florida or something. They were like moving it to Florida. I'm like, that's
January.
Late January.
That's in January. Yeah, I thought
of
it'd be
86.
Yeah, it's early January.
Okay, so we're in the awake of that, because I remember that was one of the weirdest things, because I remember for a couple weeks in a row in the news section they were like, this part of Challenger got moved to this Challenger. I'm like, wait, that's not happen. That doesn't happen in 82. Because I like remember the weird. I was like 4 years. I was like 4 years old, but like I remember something weird about it exploding. And
no, by May of 86, it's already happened. The real causes have been covered up, and Reagan has officially blamed it on commies and single mothers.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, next summer, stay tuned for get ready. 86 is coming. I don't know what the hit songs are.
This time it's war.
This time it's war. And Aaron is bored, so he gets to he gets to join in on the 80s. So
Kims.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, but thank you all for listening to this entire summer of 2015 adventure. This was a busy one. I mean, I don't know if it was my personal life or everything, but this was a
This is a busy time for doing this.
We didn't complete this one till close to the end here. This is we're recording this. This one drops in just like 2 weeks after.
We're up against the wire here, that's for sure.
We are up against the wire. The last couple episodes.
Aaron died on the second to last episode. This is actually
right.
a hologram.
Yeah. So yeah,
Rest
this one was pretty challenging.
This is the stock footage of me.
Yeah. We started in January and literally ending recording in August. It's nuts. So
well, Brandon, thank you for putting all this together as always. This is a lot. I really enjoy doing this with you guys, and it takes some time to do or whatnot, but it's certainly I think worth it.
This time around I wasn't able to do as much social media wise with this as I normally like to do with this one, but yeah, I got the episodes done. That was the important part.
I mean, all I do is watch the movies and show up. I really appreciate all the nitty gritty that you do.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. It's fun research. It's exciting. I enjoy it. Like as much as it can like stress me out getting to it done, getting the script ready, stuff like that. This is like my favorite thing about this show that I do. So I really appreciate you guys joining, being eager to come along for this ride, because it's a lot of time on your behalf of not just recording, but watching these movies and catching up and stuff. So I'm looking forward to going back to the age where there's probably less movies. I think. I hope.
It means we can watch Cobra twice.
Oh, fuck yes, Cobra! Oh, get your scissors out and cut your pizzas. Let's go. Cobra. Love it. So, all right. But yeah, Scott, where can people find you in the meantime?
I am a semi-regular contributor to Puck News. I write, run, and operate the Outside Scoop at Substack. I also run a weekly podcast called The Box Office Podcast, which is a weekly conversation between myself and 2 or 3 or 4 other younger, cooler, more culturally relevant box office pundits or film scholars as we talk about what transpired. Oh, wait, you don't do that. Fuck. As we talk about what transpired last weekend at a theater near you. And I'm on the socials at some variation of Scott Mendelson. I'm not on there all that much, but if you need to send me a message, I'll see it eventually.
All right, Aaron?
You can find everything I do at my personal Substack page, codezik.substack.com. I'm the editor-in-chief at We Live Entertainment. Movie reviews can be found there. I write for Why So Blue as well when it comes to Blu-ray and Criterion reviews. I am the co-host of a couple other podcasts, including Out Now with Aaron and Abe. We talk about weekly movie releases and do a lot of other fun stuff, including commentary tracks, which Brandon and Scott are generally on. I'm also the co-host of Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla, a bi-weekly podcast where a friend and fellow film critic Terrence Johnson and I talk about the Godzilla films in chronological order. Based on when this is coming out, just know if you are in the LA area or plan to be, at LA Comic-Con this coming September, Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla will be having a panel at LA Comic-Con. So if you want to see us talk live about Godzilla, you can do that this September. And about all the social media at Aaron's PS4.
Gotcha. And I'm on the socials at Brandon4QHD. I have that YouTube channel where you can check that out for 4K reviews as well as viewing these shows. I'll be at Doctoberfest this October. Also, Tarkovsky's Tales returns later in September here with Nostalgia. And I'm gonna try to take a little bit of a break here after completing this series to recharge and stuff, but my episodes might be a little more random with releases and maybe not as scheduled always on Mondays or maybe just when they drop. But stay tuned. I'll be around. And yeah, September's a bigger month for me with Blu-ray reviews and stuff like that. So more of those. I didn't really get anything in August. I got digital stuff, but so yeah, as always, thanks everybody for listening and stay film positive.
The summer of 2015 at 10.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. The show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.